This is the weather forecast video for Saturday, February 25th, 2012. Let's take a look at the satellite image from last evening. You can see a storm system over the east moving off into the Atlantic, taking with it the snow, rain, and thunderstorms, and another storm over the northwest moving along the U.S.-Canadian border, bringing some snow to that area. Watch warning map from just before midnight. Wind advisories across the New England states down into the mid-Atlantic. Winter storm watches and warnings across the northern tier of the country into the northwest, with wind advisories over the Intermountain West. GFS chart precipitation over the next 5 days through Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock shows some decent amounts of precipitation of 1 to 2 inches across the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, and across the Pacific Northwest coast. So let's take a look at the 0Z GFS Model Run. At 6 p.m. this evening, a trough over the New England states with the storm departing into the Canadian Maritimes, another over the northern Rockies with the low pressure over northern Montana, with some snow and some of it quite heavy along the U.S.-Canadian border. But here we'll just see some winds switching around to the south, temperatures warming back up into the 30s to lower 40s. Sunday, that storm moves just north of us. If there's any precipitation, it'll be mainly near the Iowa-Minnesota border and north of there, but we'll stay mainly dry and in the 40s. And Monday, bit cooler, back down into at least the middle and upper 30s to around 40, but another storm is developing over the Intermountain West. The Gulf begins to open up, and by Tuesday, you can see the energy coming through the plains and digging in, southwest flow aloft, and with that we could see a little bit of rainfall, maybe even a few thunderstorms. Although not seen here, the Cape values will be very low and there will be very little instability, so all we'll see would be maybe a clap of thunder or a stroke of lightning. As that moves off, cold air comes down and the precipitation could end as a bit of snow on Wednesday. Right now it's too early to determine any accumulations, but if any, they'll be light. Thursday will be in the middle of a system, the one that's moving quickly off the east coast, and another developing over the Oklahoma and Texas panhandle to our south and west. Winds will be back around to the south, temperatures are warm, ahead of another storm, low near about Hannibal, Missouri, and that would put us in the cold side and possibly the snowy side, but we have to get through another system before this one. At week from today, on the 3rd, trough over the center part of the country with ridge over the west, and with that the cold air will be streaming in from Canada. Little if any precipitation, maybe a few clouds and flurries at best, with a frontal system along the eastern seaboard down into the southeast and another storm over the northwest. A few days later, the 7th, a pretty zonal flow across the country and pretty far north, right near the U.S.-Canadian border, with a fairly weak subtropical jet along the south, and we'll have storms well to our north and well to our south, and we'll be in the middle and we'll be decently warm, looking like 40s for highs possibly by this point. The end of the forecast, the 11th, a bit of a trough begins to dig in across the high plains and Rockies and ridge over the southeast, and this looks to bring some stormy weather, low pressure over Nebraska, with warm air pumping all the way up into the Great Lakes, so this could be another round of showers and maybe even a clap of thunder or two. We'll see. Thank you for tuning in to the weather forecast video. We'll have another one tomorrow.